This is actually not my piece, so I'm not going to put you through the drudgery of it, but because it fits so well with the theme, I had to read it. It was by my friend Justin Lamb, who is a slam poet in New Orleans. If there's a slam poetry scene, can someone please tell me?
Talk to me after the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mark.
Cool, whoever that is, I can't see you. Okay, cool. So this is about slam poetry. So they say that slam poetry started in the 1800s. Actually, or no, was it the 80s? Or no, it was 3,583 BC when the first poets wrote stanzas on the walls and memorized them until the words they spoke went off the walls, and the Samaritans hosted their own poetry slam, and if they went over 3 minutes, they'd cut off your hand, and Moses was a scribe with some rules of his own, like thou shalt kill it with thou poem, and Cleopatra spit with such force that she could flip pyramids over with her voice, and Alexander the Great was kind of mediocre, and Jesus, oh my God, Jesus, wrote better than any apostle. When he put a chisel to his tablet, it was gospel. He had this one poem like, I want you to know what I make. I make the blind see. I make the crippled walk. I make water into wine. I make the deaf talk. And I don't need personification to make that chair talk. Wow, I can make like a piece of wood talk. And he got disqualified for using a prop. Muhammad was a prophet when he was tired, and even on her worst day, Joan of Arc was on fire, and Genghis Khan conquered mics and stages and poets, and Columbus was sicker than smallpox, but he stole his hot lines from the natives, and knew not to battle with gravity, and now not to mess with Shakespeare when his story ended in tragedy, and Betsy Ross wove together concepts on a fly, and George Washington kept it real because he couldn't tell a lie, and Jefferson penned home about all men should be equal, but the only people of color in the audience were his slaves, and those were the only black people. And Sojourner spoke the truth, while halfway around the world, Mozart had a nicer sound that Harriet Tubman never blew up because she was too underground and... Oh, sorry. Oh. That was a typo. Frederick Douglass started a poem by sounding out three and flipped it into one about learning to read, and Albert Einstein was an MC squared. His lines were crazier than his hair. Gandhi preached peace, and Picasso drew clouds, and Anne Frank's ghetto tales are still relevant now, and Rosa had a knack for bringing people to their feet, and when Martin packed lunch, open mics would stop for him to find him a seat, and yesterday's poets were the ones who inspired today, and we are tomorrow. So turn the page and speak up for what you stand for. Stand up for what you say, protect the stage like ancient Sparta, write like the Magna Carta, break it down like the Berlin Wall, and rise up like South Africa when the apartheid would fall. Like, the next lasting moment could happen tonight, because if you have a thought, and if you have a voice, you have history to write.